Right, welcome back 20 minutes before 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Gauteng MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Lebogang Maile, is today expected to speak about his decision to withdraw the suspension of 2 Democratic Alliance Councillors. Last week, Tshwane Speaker Katlego Mathebe and Johannesburg Councillor Vasco da Gama were placed on a 6-month and 3-month suspension without pay, respectively, for allegedly breaching the Code of Conduct for councillors. Tshwane Speaker Katlego Mathebe is here in studio with us, and the former Johannesburg Speaker, Councillor Vasco da Gama, is joining us on the line. So, Councillor, a very good morning to you on the line. Thanks so much for taking time out.
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning, Speaker Katlego.
Yeah, and Speaker, thank you very, very much. So the question to both of you I will ask is, this backtrack of the MEC, were you given an explanation? Speaker, if I may begin with you, do you understand why suddenly this decision has been reversed?
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning to the viewers and to Vasco. The MEC didn't give specific reasons why he reversed. Like we all know that he said he'll be addressing the media at 12, so we are waiting to hear why. But we did contend that there is nothing in law that provides for him to suspend us. And even item 14 subsection 6 that he has used, we have warned that he is misinterpreting the law. And all other sections in the Constitution that they've been citing, we have also warned that they are misinterpreting it. And you know, all the letters that we wrote to him to and fro, we have stated case law as to what is it that is empowering us to do the things that we do, whereas he has failed to state any provision of the law. Why is he doing what he is doing? Because you remember that it's not the first time he's doing something that is illegal. He wanted to interfere in the council proceedings in December. He again wanted to interfere in the council proceedings in January. And I stood my ground and I said, there is nothing in law that is empowering you to do what you're doing.
Yeah, all right. So I need to put it on record that, of course, we did invite MEC Maile to come and be a part of this interview, but he said he didn't want to speak before the press conference. So there is a press conference scheduled for today, and at that time he's going to be giving all of the reasons and more of an explanation as to why these last week's decision has now been suspended. So I just needed to put that on the record. So right now we're hearing one side of the story, and hopefully we'll get a clearer picture as the day goes by. So Councillor, let me bring you into the conversation. Perhaps you have more light as to why this has all been backtracked and turned around and these suspensions have been lifted. Do you have any idea why the MEC did this?
Well, I think the reasons are quite clear. That the MEC was either wrongly advised by his legal advisors, or either he was playing politics, trying to play a power game to ensure that both Tshwane and the city of Johannesburg fails. It's not the first time that he's doing this. Ever since he was appointed earlier during 2019, after the elections, he's been on the city of Johannesburg's case. He brought a Section 160 against the city and tried to enforce it. But obviously, as you know, Herman was still at the helm, and they couldn't get that right. And then the ANC councillors obviously spoke to him at some point, and he started exerting pressure on the city, not only in the housing department, but with all kinds of investigations all along. But obviously his chance came after Herman left as the executive mayor of the city, and and just before the new mayor was elected. And obviously, in my case, it is all to do with the meeting that was supposed to elect the new mayor. Yeah. I cancelled it simply because there was a whole lot of argument between different political parties in the council chambers as to what rules to use to elect the new mayor. And after I took the decision, obviously advised from the city's legal advisors, that rather go for an independent legal advice so that we are not blamed at the end of the day if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I went for an independent legal advice. The legal advice was accepted by council in the sense that when I brought it back on the 4th, we first discussed it, and council then approved the new legal advice. Then only we went into electing the new mayor.
Yeah.
But obviously that was not enough.
Yeah. All right. So,
and that's why the latest action.
And that was what led to this drama of the suspension. Speaker, your story was a little bit different, but almost similar in its ways. I mean, you were basically suspended after you refused to change an order in which mentions were heard after opposition parties tried to change it, and that saw you being suspended.
Yeah, and it's very important to also share with the whole country what is contained in Section 29, subsection 1 of the Structures Act. It says that the Speaker must convene the meeting, but it says subject to Section 18.2. And 18.2 say at least convene a meeting quarterly. But then we are convening the meeting every month. Then it continues to say, but if a majority of councillors request in writing to convene a meeting, then you must. And I did that. They asked for a meeting to be convened. And there is nothing in Section 29, subsection 1, that says that I must put the agenda in a particular way. And the Constitution's 160, subsection 6 says that the municipal councils may make the rules and orders they say they must make bylaws. Then we do have the rules and orders bylaw that regulate how we conduct our business in the city. And 2C says that when we convene a special council meeting, it is the responsibility of the Speaker to determine the order of proceeding, because Section 8 alone says the ordinary council meeting, this is the order of proceeding. But in a case where you have a special council meeting, the Speaker must or may then prescribe how the meeting will go ahead. And I did exactly that.
Yeah.
And they may argue that, we presented our motions in this particular way. There's a subsection that deals with motions, that when the motions are submitted to me, I must order them, date them, and present to council in the manner that, it was ordered. They brought together all the motions together at a go. And it is my prerogative then to order them in a particular way that makes rational sense. That is what I did. And also on the day of the meeting, that is, the most recent one, they made amendments. The latest amendments that I received from the ANC was at 10 minutes past 9 on a Thursday morning. But they still did not change the order of business. Then one can argue, when we are in a meeting, you want me to adjourn the meeting, consult with you and the MEC's office to reorder the business. It doesn't happen. That is why we have rules on how we are going to conduct the business of council.
Okay.
And that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm conducting the business of council in terms of the rules and orders by law. And there is nowhere in law where it says that when the councillors have requested a meeting in terms of Structures Act 29.1, you must hear from them how they want the agenda to be drafted.
So, when this was obviously reasons for your suspension were given, the MEC claimed his decision to suspend was informed by the law, and he quoted the Code of Conduct for Councillors. And this obviously is not holding weight. So that's what we're gathering here now that this has been taken away. Was that the reason that you were given?
Yes, because if you look at the Code of Conduct for Council, he referred to item 14, subsection 6. And the Code of Conduct for Councillors is a municipal council must do the following, then take the matter to the MEC. Then the municipal council did not consider this matter, that the MEC at sub-item 6, then has got the prerogative to then apply his mind, do an investigation, then suspend or even remove a councillor. That there is a predetermination that a municipal council must first do those things. So there isn't any municipal council that have had the allegations, because those are allegations that, he's leveling against us. And he's also, damaging our integrity in the process, because he said that I'm a second-time offender. And I dare ask him, what are those offences that I've committed? If you're even saying I'm a second-time offender.
Okay. So, and this is to both of you. to you, Councillor, and to you, Speaker. He called you both constitutional delinquents. That's what he called you. So at the end of the day, I know that there's a possibility that you may go and put a civil suit against him. Let me get it from you. Firstly, Councillor da Gama, are you going to go ahead? And then I will ask the same question to you. Are you going to go ahead with a civil suit against the MEC?
Definitely. There is no way that he can prove that I'm a constitutional delinquent, including Councillor Katlego. I mean, how claims throughout the media without having any proof of anything. If he ever attempted to look at the rules that he was quoting, he would have understood that he himself was wrong. I mean, how does one, in the Tshwane case, how does one preside over no confidence debate on yourself? Not possible. It is not possible. It's not allowed in law. And that's why the Speaker in Tshwane was absolutely correct by stepping aside, ensuring somebody else takes over the proceedings, and then allowing them to have their debate.
Okay.
It's exactly the same thing happened with the city of Johannesburg. I had to step aside, and obviously was voted off, and somebody else took over the seat. Why didn't he insist on the same within the city of Johannesburg? He has not read the rules, first of all. He doesn't understand the Constitution, and that's why he took the action that he took. And that's why it's quite important to set an example. You cannot override local government. There is 3 spheres of government: national, provincial, and local. And therefore they are all separate. They've all got caucuses. And caucuses, I mean councils or gatherings. And those gatherings are sacred. Nobody can interfere because they've got their own rights.
Yeah. So let me now just bring, and I imagine you the same, you going ahead with a civil suit.
Leon, I should, because remember he said the first time that he said, I abandoned council irresponsibly. And that was the meeting when the only item was the motion of confidence on me. And I recused myself, and I stated clearly that the acting speaker will come on the podium to continue, because January 2017, Council agreed on having an acting speaker, which in terms of legislation is allowed. We cannot have a deputy speaker, but we can have an acting speaker when the speaker is not available. And that is exactly what I did. I said, because this meeting solely is to address a motion of confidence on me, I'm going to recuse myself. And also when I responded to him in writing, I cited case law that, guided me as a principal to recuse myself and allow the acting speaker to come and preside over the matter.
Yeah. Let's talk about the people now in Tshwane, because there is chaos in Tshwane right now. There really is. We see walkouts happening between the EFF and the ANC, the DA. It's just there is so much happening there that the residents feel that it's got absolutely nothing to do with them, and right now it is a battle of politicians, and the city's going nowhere, and this is a big problem. What is your reaction to this? Because you can fight and carry on, but at the end of the day, who's running the place?
2 things. We are running the place because as much as there are a lot of shenanigans happening in council, the executive is doing its work, in the legislature I'm doing my work. And you will remember that these things of walking out didn't just start now. From 2016, when we took office, the ANC has been behaving in this way. And even when the time when Mashatile was still the MEC then, he came to intervene in Tshwane once when the ANC threw bottled water at the TMPD when I asked them to come and assist in council. And it has been an ongoing thing. The ANC never accepted the fact that the people of Tshwane rejected them in 2016. And they are continuing on that trajectory. And it's a pity that they have demonstrated time and time again that they cannot accept the will of the people. We did not vote for ourselves. The people of Tshwane voted for us, and they voted out the ANC. And We are doing our best to do what we can do. And remember, and also that the ANC policy of cadre deployment is also crippling the public service. Senior officials in the city are members of the ANC, and I'm not going to paint all of them black. Most of them are doing their best to do the work, but remember, their loyalty is with the ANC, not with the people of Tshwane. And that is a very sad thing. The policy of the ANC of cadre deployment should be challenged. I don't believe it's constitutional, you know, because we have to have a professional public service. And the public service that we have right now is not professional because it's interested in serving a particular political party.
Well, it certainly is, and there's also been threats from the MEC to put, to go ahead and actually place the metro under administration. And
even that as well. I mean, I also explained to him that MEC, before you could do that, Section 139(1), there are 4 subsections. So which one actually are you applying in the case of Tshwane? Because what you are doing is amiss. You are not correctly advised, MEC. And I'm still waiting to hear his response. And you know, with this thing of, you know, how things are happening in Tshwane, you remember even with the acting city manager, the DA proposed to council that this should be the acting city manager so that we can continue to do the work, a professional. They rejected that, and the ANC decided to put one of their own, because with the ANC and EFF support, then they managed to do that. And since they've put that gentleman, shame, you know, it's a pity. You know, they are really harassing that gentleman.
Yeah. So, I mean, we look at what's happening, though. The mayor of Tshwane, you've got Mokalapa, who is on special leave, but there's still word that he is still the mayor, that he isn't actually on special leave, and he is the mayor of Tshwane. Is he the mayor of Tshwane right now?
Stephen Mokalapa is the mayor of Tshwane. He is on leave. In terms of our leave policy, we only have leave.
He's on holiday.
No, he is on leave, right? Because he had to go on leave so that, you know, investigations can be done. Because remember, as well, in the November Council, I've also said the matter of Mayor Mokalapa, I'm referring it to the Rules and Ethics Committee to investigate and to make findings so that we can then proceed. We do have an acting mayor, which legislation allow, which is MMC Tau. He is the acting executive mayor. And that is why the business of council is continuing unhindered, because we do have an acting mayor in the form of MMC Tau.
Yeah, I mean, to say that the business of council is going on unhindered is a big statement to make when it really isn't. There are walkouts, there is chaos. Things are not going smoothly right now, and I don't think you can actually deny that.
The point I'm making is that the resolutions of council that needs to be taken, they do get taken. If you check the timing of the walkouts is when we have to go to motions. And all the council reports that the executive would have put before council, for the council to resolve on them so that the administration can do its work, we've always been able to do that. Each time the meeting will collapse when we get to motions. When they see that they're not going to get their way, then they walk out. So that is why I'm saying, to some extent, the business of council is continuing, because everything that needs to be resolved by council is resolved.
All right. Let me give you a final word there, Councillor, as well. Vasco da Gama, today you obviously are going to be hearing a lot more coming out, and the reasons given for what your suspension and led to your suspension, and then the reverse turning of all of that. There's also been calls for, from your side, from both of you, to see MEC Maile resign and move on. Would you still like to see something like that happen?
Yes, I think that the action right now would be to write to the Premier and actually complain to him on what MEC Maile has been doing all along. He's completely messed up both Tshwane and the city of Johannesburg by his threat. And as I said, it's not the first threat. And there's a lot of wrong actions that has happened. But he's also got advisors that comes from Salga. It has been with Salga for years. They should know the rules and they should know the law, but they have not advised the MEC properly, or either he was advised properly, but decided to ignore that. And therefore, it would be just right for the Premier to take action on it to make sure that we have a MEC that really looks at the interest of the residents of Gauteng as a whole.
Okay.
And therefore it's quite important to take this necessary action.
All right. We have to leave it there, but we thank both of you for coming in and talking to your side of the stories. We had Tshwane Speaker Katlego Mathebe in studio with us. Thank you very, very much, Speaker. And Johannesburg Councillor Vasco da Gama reacting to Gauteng MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Lebogang Maile's decision to withdraw their suspensions. Press conference happening today, and we'll get the reasons for the suspensions during that. Right now, though, it is 7 o'clock. Let's get your news.